I always thought I was one of the lucky ones. You know, the type of woman who meets the perfect guy early in life. The kind of guy who brings you flowers just because, who remembers your dog's birthday, who talks about the future like it's already written and you're the lead actress in it. That was Adam. We met when I was 22. He held the door open for me at a coffee shop, smiled, and said, "The world needs more people like you." I had just given the barista a tip, nothing special. But Adam noticed things. He always did. We started dating almost immediately. He was smart, funny, ambitious. A lawyer just 2 years older than me with that perfect combination of confidence and charm. My friends adored him. My parents, even more. My mom used to whisper, "Don't let this one go." For 4 years, we built a life together. Moved into a condo, shared bank accounts, vacationed in Italy. We were that couple, annoyingly photogenic, always holding hands, finishing each other's sentences. People assumed marriage was inevitable. And it was. He proposed on a rooftop under fairy lights with my favorite song playing from a speaker hidden in the bushes. I cried before he even got the ring out. It was perfect. He was perfect. Everything was perfect. Except it wasn't. It started with small things. Late night calls he'd take in another room. Work trips that popped up last minute. A locked drawer in his home office that wasn't always locked before. I told myself it was stress. I told myself I was being paranoid. I told myself he loved me. Until I couldn't tell myself anything anymore. 2 months before the wedding, I accidentally stumbled upon an email. His laptop was open. He was in the shower. I wasn't snooping. I swear, but a pop-up notification caught my eye. It was from someone named Sabrina. Subject, "You promised me it would be over." Message, 2 years, Adam. 2 years of lies. If you go through with this wedding, I swear I'll show up and tell her everything. My blood went cold. My fingers froze on the keyboard. I scrolled. There were hundreds of messages. Sabrina wasn't a one-night mistake. She wasn't a fling. She was his girlfriend. And he was engaged to both of us. I didn't cry. Not that night. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. I shut the laptop, walked to the bathroom, looked at Adam through the cracked door while he hummed in the shower, like everything was normal. And right then, I made a decision. I wasn't going to walk away quietly. I wasn't going to cancel the wedding. I was going to destroy it. Over the next few days, I pretended everything was fine. I kissed Adam like nothing had changed. I showed my friends my dress fittings. I even had dinner with his parents, smiling and laughing while his mother talked about flower arrangements. Inside, I was burning. I started documenting everything. Screenshots of his emails, photos of texts, even a few voice memos of him taking late-night calls just in case I needed receipts. But I didn't just want to catch him. I wanted to make sure everyone saw it. So I came up with a plan. And I paid for it myself. First, I contacted Sabrina. It took me 3 tries to get her to meet. At first, she thought I was going to yell at her, maybe even fight her. But when I showed her the ring on my finger and the matching necklace he'd given both of us, her face went pale. "He said you were crazy," she whispered. "Funny. He said you were the clingy one," I replied. She started crying. I didn't. I offered her a deal, not to expose him together. Not yet. But to help me ruin him at the altar. I started making arrangements like any bride would, but mine were a little different. I booked a private videographer, not the guy Adam had chosen. Mine had specific instructions: capture everything, don't stop rolling, and focus on reactions. I hired an actor to play the part of a wedding planner. His real job? To hand-deliver an envelope to Adam during the ceremony. I even arranged for Sabrina to be seated in the 3rd row with a clear view of the altar and, of course, a hidden microphone clipped into her dress. I told my maid of honor, my best friend Lana, everything. She wanted to punch him in the throat, but she promised to play along. By the time the wedding day arrived, I had rehearsed the script in my head 100 times. The morning of the wedding, Adam kissed my forehead and said, "I can't believe I get to marry you today." I smiled sweetly. "You really can't, can you?" He laughed. I didn't. And just before I walked down the aisle in front of 120 friends, family, and strangers, I looked in the mirror and whispered to myself, "Let's give them a show." The music started. Soft piano chords echoed through the ceremony hall. All eyes turned toward me. I walked slowly, my heart pounding in my chest like a war drum under the white silk of my dress. I wasn't nervous. I was ready. Adam stood at the altar, smiling like the world belonged to him. He looked too perfect, like the kind of guy who never got caught, who could talk his way out of anything. Not today. Sabrina sat in row 3 just as planned. Our eyes met for a second. She gave me the smallest nod. Lena, standing beside Adam, subtly adjusted her bouquet. It was our signal. I reached the altar. Adam took my hand. You look beautiful, he whispered. I leaned in and whispered back, enjoy it. It's your last lie in a white dress. He blinked, confused, but the officiant had already started speaking. The ceremony went on. But just as we reached the vows, the actor dressed as the wedding planner approached Adam, right on cue, and handed him a white envelope. Urgent, he said. From the florist. Adam looked baffled. He opened the envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. On it was a printed screenshot. Him. Sabrina. Naked. Timestamp 2 weeks ago. He froze. The audience noticed. Murmurs began. Then over the speakers, a voice echoed through the hall. You said you loved me. You said you'd leave her, but you never did. It was Sabrina. The hidden mic picked up everything she said during rehearsal, now playing loud and clear. So I guess I had to come to your wedding and see for myself. And I did. Congratulations, you're a liar in a tuxedo. Gasps. Adam turned ghost white. He looked at me, stunned. I took a deep breath, and I smiled. I knew, I said loudly. I've known for months. I invited her. I invited everyone to see what a fraud you are. People stood. Phones came out. His mother shrieked. Someone dropped a glass. Sabrina rose from her seat, looked him dead in the eye, and said, I hope the cake's as fake as your promises. Then she walked out, and I followed. But not before turning to the guests and announcing, reception's still on. There's champagne, shrimp, and betrayal in the air. Help yourselves. Outside, I could hear clapping. From my side of the guests, at least. By the time I got to the limo, I had already gone viral. Literally. Someone posted a clip of the envelope moment with the caption, Weeding destroyed by BRI, wait till the end. 10 minutes later, 200,000 views. By morning, 3.2 million. Hashtag Justice Theater. Hashtag Runaway Groom. Hashtag Team Bride. People loved it. TikTok made memes. Twitter called me the queen of comebacks. Even my ex from high school DM'd me. You got balls. Respect. But not everyone was cheering. Adam, of course, was humiliated. His law firm put him on leave. Sabrina sent me a tearful thank you message and then coasted. Can't blame her. His parents never reached out. My parents took me out for steak and martinis. A few days later, a woman messaged me on Instagram. Her name was Maya. She worked for a production company in Leh. Hey, she wrote. We're developing a series called Bride Out Loud. Want to be in the pilot? At first, I laughed. Then I stared at my phone. Then I thought, why not? They flew me out a week later. The studio was huge. They'd already interviewed other brides with horror stories, cheating grooms, runaway weddings, secret families. But none had pulled off a cinematic takedown in real time. They loved me. I signed the deal. I told my story. Got a stylist, a glam team, a camera crew. I went from jilted bride to national icon in under a month. One afternoon, Lana and I were sitting by the pool drinking margaritas. She looked at me and said, You know, most people would have just cried in a bathroom. I smirked. I've thought about it. Then I remembered, bathrooms don't have witnesses. 3 months passed. The pilot aired. People loved it. Networks fought over who would host the full season. I was on morning shows, podcasts, even BuzzFeed listed me in top 10 women who said, no thanks to trash men and won. I was winning. And then he messaged me. Not Adam. Not even an ex. Nathan. The guy I almost dated before Adam. We met in college. Went on 2 dates. He moved cities. I started law school. Timing was always off. But his message. Saw the video. Saw you. If you're ever in Boston, let's finally grab that third date. I stared at the screen for a long time. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I'd forgotten what it felt like to be seen without the drama. No lies, no secret girlfriends, no wedding takedowns. Just curiosity. A spark. I replied, I'll be there next weekend. Pick a place. I'll bring the memes. I didn't need revenge anymore. I had something better. A life that was finally mine. Not built on pretending. Not built on pain. Not even built on love. Just me. Honest. Unapologetic. Free. And if love showed up again, he better not bring an envelope. Kacha, żrobli zaraz ilustracji du blokiv styli teplik dramatic istorii jak my robimo. Atakos tregernu preview kartnikus Reddit textum. Vi skazali. Sticks. Programa chat GPT skazala. Super. Poikalis blokum 6. Epilogue Ayaki dodast emocinoe globinia pokash. Show historiat me prosto pro pomstu pros selenia. Block 6. Healing doesn't need an audience, people kept asking me. Was it worth it? Would you do it again? Do you ever miss him? The real answers? Yes, maybe, and absolutely not. But healing wasn't about interviews. It wasn't in the likes or views or headlines that screamed Savage Bride exposes cheater IV. It came later, in small moments. Like when I cleared the closet and tossed out the last thing he ever bought me, a hideous scarf I pretended to love. Like when I cooked dinner alone and didn't feel lonely. Like when I laughed at a rom-com without rolling my eyes. It came when I stopped imagining revenge scenes at 2 a.m. When I let go of the girl who thought being chosen meant being loved. One night, I opened my journal. I hadn't touched it since college. I flipped to a blank page and wrote, "You don't need to be saved. You just need to remember, you were never the villain in his story. You were the whole damn plot. And for the first time in forever, I slept without nightmares, without plans, without him. Just me. Breathing, beginning." People kept asking me, was it worth it? Would you do it again? Do you ever miss him? The real answers? Yes, maybe, and absolutely not. But healing wasn't about interviews. It wasn't in the likes or views or headlines that screamed Savage Bride exposes cheater IV. It came later, in small moments. Like when I cleared the closet and tossed out the last thing he ever bought me, a hideous scarf I pretended to love. Like when I cooked dinner alone and didn't feel lonely. Like when I laughed at a rom-com without rolling my eyes. It came when I stopped imagining revenge scenes at 2 a.m. When I let go of the girl who thought being chosen meant being loved. One night, I opened my journal. I hadn't touched it since college. I flipped to a blank page and wrote, "You don't need to be saved. You just need to remember, you were never the villain in his story. You were the whole damn plot. And for the first time in forever, I slept without nightmares, without plans, without him. Just me. Breathing, beginning."